Pease spent 4 years as the Patriots defensive coordinator and 6 total years on that staff starting in 2004. The former DC pulled back the curtain on how much Belichick helped Brady develop as a quarterback. He said Belichick would only spend 45 minutes a week with the defense, and the rest of the time he spent was helping Brady break down film. He's called the job Belichick did with Brady, quote, incredible. So, Shannon, do you believe Belichick really spent more time with Brady than the defense?
Yeah,
Speechless.
I've been telling people this for years.
You have?
Skip, I was the one that said that's why the great quarterbacks really like having defensive coordinators as their head coach.
Oh, just in general?
Just in general, okay. Skip, because they can come and say, okay, if I'm a DC, if I'm facing you, this is the way I'm going to cover you. You come out in this formation. This is what I'm going. This is my call. This is my adjustment if you go motion. So you talk about the greatest defensive mind, and he's sitting there with a young quarterback telling you this is what you're going to get, and when you do this, this is what you're going to get. There's a reason why, Skip, we sitting in those meetings and watch all this film. There's a reason why Tom Brady watch all this film, because he has a head start. But now you got a great defensive mind that's telling you actually what you're going to get, what you're going to see. I've just been telling you this, but it took Dean Pease. Dean said, you know what? He spent 45 minutes with us. The rest of the time he spent it with Tom, telling Tom what he's going to see on Sunday, what he would do to him if he was facing him on Sunday. And if you came out in this formation, this is what you're going to get. Skip, the thing that burns coaches up is that we practice something all week. We get into an area of the field, and Mike would say, this is what you're going to get. 90% of the time, when we come out in this formation, they're going to play this defense. Now, when we go this motion, they're going to shift to this. Okay, we know that. That's what, ooh, Skip, we got it. We got it. We're going to give me a touchdown. And then somebody blow it. We practiced this all week. That's why Tom very seldom, Skip, you catch Tom in a situation. Now, you might get him with something that he hasn't seen. You give him a different, and that's what they do, Skip. They'll add a wrinkle here or there. But you're not going to catch these great quarterbacks with something they've practiced all week, and then you run the exact same thing and catch them. That's not going to happen. So the biggest thing, Skip, is that we don't want to give, if a defensive player is good, we give the coach to the defensive coordinator. We give him the credit. If an offensive player is good, we give it to the offensive coordinator. But you don't realize how invaluable that was to a guy like Tom Brady. Peyton Manning, all of his coaches were what, Skip? DCs. Jim Mora, Sr., Tony Dungy, John Fox. The only offensive coordinator he really ever had in his career was last year? Gary Kubiak. And he wasn't the same player then, and they relied on the defense. So that's all I'm saying, Skip. I'm not saying, well, hey, that settles it. Everything that Tom Brady accomplished was because of Bill Belichick. All I'm saying is, Skip, is that sometimes we don't realize how important it is to have a guy like that in your corner. Sometimes you just need somebody to see your vision. You know what I say, Skip? I just need somebody to believe in me, to see my vision. That guy not only could see what they was going to foretell, he could help Tom Brady see his vision.
So my first issue with this is I think we've given Bill Belichick way too much credit for the New England defenses that have been historically great. Am I right? Because according to Dean Pease, Belichick has little to nothing to do with defense, right? First of all, I'm going to call baloney here on Dean Pease because I think part of this is patting self on back. I ran those defenses, and I looked them up last night, and they were all top 5-ish defenses, second in points allowed, fourth, fifth, and then eighth in points allowed. So pretty great through those 4 years,
he was
right?
pretty good. I remember he was in Baltimore.
He was very good in Baltimore, and I don't discount that, but I think this is his way of saying, I did it. I got no help from the GOAT coach that we all give credit to as the GOAT defensive coordinator coach, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't disagree with you that is certainly early in Brady's development, his evolution, that, yeah, Belichick would sit with him and say, well, as a DC, this is what I'm looking at, so you look at it the way I'm looking at it, and it will help you see the field better than you would normally.
Correct.
But I ask you, which coach helped a GOAT-ish quarterback more, Bill Walsh with Joe Montana or Bill Belichick with Tom Brady? I'm going to take the guy who invented the offense, Bill Walsh, helping Joe Montana more than Belichick. So we did have a clip, and I don't know, do we still have it? I think we do, of an NFL Films clip.
Okay.
Yeah, we got it. Here's just a snippet of a conversation they were having that you say would help Tom Brady see the field better, and this is against Ed Reed in Baltimore.
Right.
You could put, Julian on the inside because Ed's going to be driving.
Yep.
And then when you break back out high to the flag, if that corner starts running high for the backside post, then you can throw the flag too.
Oh, you're saying let Ed dime on it and then bring it back out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Let Ed take it, and then when Ed takes it, then the Z whips it back to the
Right. I got you.
to the flag.
I think the student was teaching the teacher there.
Right.
Because it came across to me that Brady was actually educating Bill. And if you watch the clip, you can call it up online, but it goes, we can't show it because we don't have enough show left.
Right.
But the point is that it started out with Bill saying, I see this tendency in Ed Reed. And Tom politely nodded, but it was clear Tom already knew that tendency. Right. And he then took Bill to another level because he's saying, because of that tendency, we should add this play and this play to the offensive game plan because we can take advantage of how he might overreact on the play.
Right, because he's saying, well, if Ed overreacts, and now the backside safety has a responsibility.
Yep.
And if he doesn't do that, now we can do this. Now we got it. Because you had to, Skip, when you play Baltimore, you had to account for that 20.
Oh. Well, he's everything. Usually it's the mic. No, it's the free safety,
yes,
right?
Because I believe he made one of the greatest defensive plays that I ever saw. That he faked Peyton. And he knew that if he did this, he started, and Peyton was like, okay, I got it. And he took off running, and he knew Peyton was going to turn and throw the go ball. He 360'd and pirouette and picked him on the far side.
There's never been anything like that guy.
And that's what I tell people.
Yeah.
I say he's the greatest safety that I've ever taken off on film.
Got
he's the greatest safety I've ever played. And for Brady to fool him, you did something.
Okay. So my view of Tom Brady is simply that he's a football genius, an offensive genius.
He's a savant.
Just you're natural born.
Yes.
You either have this or you don't.
Right.
You can help it.
Right.
You can help educate it a little bit, but you can't teach it.
No.
You either have it or you do not have it. He's a savant because he doesn't have Aaron Rodgers' talent.
Right.
He doesn't have Dan Marino's talent. We can keep going.
Right.
Okay. He has above average talent, an above average arm.
Right.
And feet, just above average.
Right.
He has great pocket feet, but they're definitely above average. He's beating you with his brain.
Right.
Because he has scouted you so heavily that he's going to know what you're going to do before you're going to do it. And he can speed read like nobody I've ever seen.
Skip, if you talk to the guys that are not the biggest, that are not the fastest, not the strongest, not the tallest, what do they say? They say, we want to make the game a mental game.
Yep.
Because, see, if I take the physicality out of it, now I'm just working on me and you, intellect to intellect. Now, who's going to make the fewest mistakes?
Yep.
That's how Tom's like, I cannot run like Mike Vick. I ain't got no arm like Elway.
Nope.
But now, okay, it's my mind against your mind. Okay, for 60 plays, who's going to make the fewest amount of mistakes? That's how he has to make it. Isaiah spoke to Isaiah. He says, look, I wasn't 7 foot tall like Kareem. I wasn't 6'9" like Magic.
Maybe 6'1".
Right. I couldn't jump like Jordan.
Yep.
But now, okay.
Okay.
Let's make it a mind game.
I got it.
That's Tom.
So what physically can he do? He can throw accurate, catchable passes. They're sweet ball. He can throw sweet spirals that Shannon Sharp would have said, ooh, I like that. That feels good coming in my hands, right?
And here's a Skip. And because he knew where the defense was going to be, now his accuracy increased because he can anticipate. Well, okay, this is the defense you play in. I can throw it here because I already know you're not going to be there.
Hence, he can play until he's 43, maybe 44, maybe 45, because he's not completely dependent on his talent, physical talent.
Yes. Yeah, and that's what I tell guys. Work on your technique because one day you're not going to be able to run as fast. You're not going to be able to jump as high. And then what happens then? That's why he ain't playing because he's physical. He's playing because he's mental.
So, bottom line to this discussion.
Oh, Brady. Go
No,
Belichick.
No, I think Coach Subway is getting exposed
No.
without the GOAT.
Now, this is what we know. Tom Brady had Charlie Weiss. He had Josh McDaniels, Bill O'Brien, back to McDaniels. Now, all those guys, we've seen those guys go elsewhere and fail miserably. The one thing that's been what we've seen is the constant. What's the common denominator, Skip? I wasn't good at math. What does common denominator mean? That guy right there. Oh, Coach Subway.
No, it's number 12.
No, Coach Subway.
He made it all happen.
I see you laughing at it right now. You laughing at it right now. He on hard time. He did what they asked Tom yesterday about it.
But those commercials, those Subways, they're really good.
He asked him.
Way to go, Coach.
Tom was like, oh, golly gee, guys, I just want everybody to succeed.
I wish them the best. I wish them the best.
not
You know,
really.
in Tom fashion, they're in my thoughts. They're in my thoughts. How about this as for confidence? Is there any truth